What happened when this girl searched for her doppelganger is amazing. It's a strange thought that somewhere in the world there's probably someone who looks just like you. But while most of us may never encounter our doppelgangers, the magic of social media has made it a bit likelier. For 23-year-old Amanda Fisher, such a scenario became a shocking reality when a friend sent her a picture of a girl he'd found on Instagram, one who happened to look just like Amanda. He was pretty surprised and entertained at the similarity, she tells us. Amanda, who lives in Frisco, Texas, wasn't a stranger to the idea that her face reminded people of someone else. "I get told quite often that I look like Zooey Deschanel or Katy Perry," she told BuzzFeed, "so I figured it was probably someone that had a slight resemblance like I do with them." However, when Amanda looked at the photo for herself, she was amazed to find she bore more than a passing resemblance to this mystery girl. "I was shocked that she even resembled me at all, honestly," she admits. "I really wasn't expecting much, so I was pretty blown away." The resemblance between the two young women is indeed remarkable. In pictures where Amanda has lighter hair, the pair could almost be identical twins. Amanda's even noticed that this familiar stranger also bore an uncanny resemblance to her own mother. "The biggest difference between us that I've noticed is our noses," she told BuzzFeed. "Hers isn't as snubby as mine and looks more like my mom's nose than mine does." Having got over the initial shock of discovering her doppelganger, Amanda decided to reach out to the unknown girl, first on Instagram, but with little success. She then turned to image sharing community Imgur for help. Amanda posted a composite shot of her and the mystery girl before uploading it and encouraging others to help in her quest, which is when things started to get interesting. Thousands of users viewed the image, and while Amanda started receiving messages, not all inevitably were helpful. Some, for example, accused her of initiating a hoax, while others said the resemblance wasn't as close as she thought. It was at this point that Amanda pretty much lost track of how many people had become involved. "It was almost like an entire community was trying to help me," she explains. "It's such an interesting time we live in." Amazingly, it took just a few days for one Imgur user to recognize the unknown lookalike, and it was then that Amanda had an identity to go with the face. Her doppelganger's name apparently was Meredith Pond, a 22-year-old resident of Indiana. By the time Amanda was able to reach out to Meredith, the story had already gone viral, making for a slightly surreal, ice-breaking conversation between the two women. "She went from confused to excited to overwhelmed," says Amanda of Meredith's response. "The whole experience was, and still sort of is, overwhelming." Having captured the internet's imagination, the pair were suddenly swamped with media offers. "We were contacted to appear on a few different TV and radio shows," recalls Amanda, "which was a lot to handle in such a short period of time." In fact, Amanda admits that their almost overnight fame might have been a little too much for Meredith to cope with. "The media just scoops you up and throws you into it without any warning," she says, and I think that may have frightened her. The experience of being at the heart of a viral story isn't one Amanda will forget in a hurry. "It was definitely one of the most interesting experiences I'll probably ever encounter," she explains. "It's very strange having people come up to me and say they saw me on the news, Snapchat, Cosmo, etc." One of the more surreal experiences, Amanda says, is seeing how far her and Meredith's story has spread. "People from around the world are sending me links to foreign articles and showing me pictures of my face in an actual printed newspaper." And despite experiencing the occasional intrusive nature of the media, Amanda's pretty upbeat about what happened. She achieved what she set out to do, after all, to find her doppelganger. "If you put yourself out there, things like this can happen," Amanda says about some of the less than accurate news stories written about her and Meredith. Overall, she concludes, "I think it was a fun and positive experience for me." And what of her future relationship with Meredith? Could the two become lifelong friends? "I feel like that's quite a lot to ask for," she laughs, "considering we live thousands of miles apart."